Hello everyone, in this lecture we will discuss lattice. Suppose P be a poset. Look at this, I have used this as a symbol to denote a partial order relation. This may be less than equal to or divides or any other partial order relation. A poset P is called a lattice if every pair of elements xy belongs to P has a least upper bound and greatest lower bound. I have already discussed in previous lectures how to find least upper bound and greatest lower bounds. In short, you can say this is least upper bound and this is greatest lower bound. Now for two elements x and y, we have some notations to denote these two bounds, least upper bound and greatest lower bound. For least upper bound of x and y, of x comma y, we can also write it least upper bound. Look at this, we can write it x or y, and this is known as join operator also. And for greatest lower bound of x comma y, we write it x and y also. This is known as meet operator. So this we will use x or y for least upper bound, x and y for greatest lower bound. Now many times we have some confusion about these two symbols. The easy way to remember is whenever we are writing x or y, look at this, just check the open side of this symbol. So here it is open in upward direction, so it means we are talking about upper bounds, and this is, you can remember in this is the least element of upper bound, so that's why we are saying least upper bound. And whenever you are saying x and y, it means, look at this open side, this is downward, so you are talking about lower bounds, and this is the greatest element, so this symbol is used to denote greatest lower bounds. In this way you can remember these two notations easily. So for a given poset, we have to check whether for every pair of elements x, y, these 2 points exist or not. If it's so, then you will say it is a lattice, otherwise it is not a lattice. Now we will consider some examples. So we will check whether these posets are, some certain partial ordering is there. So elements are given in the form of A, B, C, D. So now we have to check whether these are lattices or not. So first I write numbering 1, 2, 3, say this is 4 and 5. Now look at this. In this poset, if you see, if you take any number which are, look at in a line, just like as AB or BC or C or EF. So every time we can find least upper bound and greatest lower bound, because if you take AB, look at this, if you take AB, then A will be the lower bound as well as greatest lower bound. Similarly, B will be the upper bound as well as least upper bound. So for every two elements which are in this linear order, you can say A, B, C, D, for every two elements you will find greatest lower bound and least upper bound. So we need to check these type of elements like C, D. So if you consider this CD, look at this, for CD, B and A, these are lower bounds, and B is the greatest lower bound. Similarly for CD, E and F, these are upper bounds, and E is the least of upper bound. It means for this set, all, if you consider any pair, then you will find there exists least upper bound and greatest lower bound. So this poset is a lattice. This one is a lattice. Now consider this one. Look at this. In this figure, these two elements are open-ended, A, B. And whenever you see this type of figure, immediately you can see that for these two elements, A and B, no lower bounds are there. No lower bounds are there means for these two elements A and B, greatest lower bound does not exist. So you can justify, you can give the reason. This is not a lattice, because For these two elements A and B, greatest lower bound does not exist. Now look at this figure 3. Again here these E and F, these two are open-ended. It means for these two elements E and F, no upper bound exists. It means no least upper bound exists for E and F. So again this is not a lattice. Now look at this. Consider, suppose BC. If you consider BC, now for BC you will find A is the greatest lower bound and E is the least upper bound. Similarly, if you consider CD, the same elements will be there. A is the greatest lower bound, E is the least upper bound. So in this way, you can choose any two elements. So for every two elements, you will find greatest lower bound and least upper bound. So this is a lattice. Now consider this one. Though this is not open-ended, but still we can check for these elements DE and CD. Now if you consider DE, so if you consider DE, for D the lower bounds are C, B and A. Look at this. If you consider the set DE, now for this set lower bounds are C, B and A. But look at this. CBA, if you consider this CAB, no element is the greatest element of this set. Greatest element means an element for which every other element precedes this element. So no greatest element is there in this set C, B and A. So no other element is there which is preceded by every other element of this set. That's why for DE, greatest lower bound does not exist. Similarly, you can say for CB, least upper bound does not exist. So this figure 5 is not a lattice. So in this way, you can check whether a given poset is a lattice or not. Now some results. Suppose L be a lattice and this is a partial order relation given with this L. L is used to denote a lattice, and suppose for A, B are two elements of L, then we have to show A precedes A or B. This means A or B means least of upper bounds, and this is greatest lower bound of A and B precedes A. Now look at this first and second one. These are directly results of the definition. So A or B, you can write, suppose start with first. We can write since A or B is the least upper bound of AB. Least upper bound means you can say this is the upper bound. So you can write it, therefore A or B is the upper bound of A comma B. So upper bound means whenever this is upper bound of A and B, so two results are directly, you can write two results directly, that is this is the upper bound of AB. It means therefore you can write A precedes A or B, or however we have written it is for A, but you can also write it B also precedes A or B, because this is the upper bound of A comma B. Now remember one thing, A or B, whenever we are talking about A or B, this is an element. Look at this. Suppose we have a poset like this. Suppose this is 1, 2, 3 and 6. So if I write 2 or 3, so 2 or 3 means least upper bound of 2 and 3. So in this case, the least upper bound of 2 or 3, upper bounds are only one element, 6 is there, the least upper bound is 6. And look at this, if you write 2 and 3, so this is 1. So whenever we are writing 2 or 3 or like A or B, this is an element. This is an element means the least upper bound of A or B. So if this is the upper bound, you can write A precedes A or B, similarly B precedes A or B. Similarly, you can prove second one. Since A and B is the greatest lower bound of A, B. Greatest lower bound itself a lower bound, so you can write therefore A and B is the lower bound of A comma B. So if it is lower bound means it is somewhere below from A and B, so you can write A and B precedes A, or you can write A and B precedes B also. So in this way you can prove these first two results. Now you can use these two results, first and second, for proving other identities like 3, because these are A precedes A or B and A and B precedes A. These are directly from the definition of least upper bound and greatest lower bound. Now let's consider third one, A or B equal to B if and only if A precedes B. Look at this, biconditional is there. Biconditional means this is part P, this is Q. If P then Q, and if Q then P. So we'll first assume this part, then we'll prove second one, and second time we will assume this one and prove this one. So we will start with, let A or B equal to B. Now we have to show that A precedes B. You know, we know that A precedes A or B using the definition of least upper bound. We have already proved A precedes A or B. So you can directly write it using the definition of least upper bound. Since A precedes A or B, now look at this, A or B is given as B. So you can write it, therefore A precedes B on putting A or B equal to B. So in this way you can prove A precedes B. So this is the first part. We have assumed this one and proved A precedes B. Now second part, let A precedes B, and we have to show A or B equal to B. Now remember, here we are talking about this relation, partial order relation. So how can we show this equal sign? So there is only one way. A partial order relation is antisymmetric, and whenever you write X precedes Y and Y precedes X, then you write X equal to Y. So we have to show that A or B precedes B and B precedes A or B. So in this way you can show A or B equal to B. Now how can we write it? So given that A is in partial order relation with B, or A precedes B, so this means A or B, this implies B is the upper bound of A. And you know that since we know that B is the upper bound of B itself, so every element is the upper bound of itself. Now we have B is the upper bound of B and B is the upper bound of A. So you can write, this implies B is the upper bound of AB. So we have shown that B is the upper bound of AB. Now you can write, since A or B is the least upper bound of AB, therefore look at this, B is the upper bound and A or B is the least upper bound. Least upper bound means the least of all these upper bounds. Therefore you can write A or B precedes B. A or B precedes B because this is the least upper bound and this is the upper bound. Now we have shown A or B precedes B. So we have to prove A or B equal to B. So this is the first part, A or B equal to B. This is say question number 1. Now using the definition of A or B, you can write B precedes A or B using the definition of least upper bound. So you can write P precedes A or B as we have already discussed while proving this first one. So this is 2. Now using 1 and 2 and using 1 and 2, since the relation is anti-symmetric, so using 1 and 2 we will get A or B equal to B, since the relation is anti-symmetric. So in this way you can show A or B equal to B. So for this we have to prove these two things. This is in partial order relation with B and B is in partial order relation with this one. Then you can say this B equal to A or B using anti-symmetric relation, because it is a partial order relation and you can show it is anti-symmetric. So in this way you can prove this theorem. We can change this in another way. You can write it, you can prove the another thing like A and B equal to A if and only if A precedes B. So similarly, just like I have proved this one, you can prove this one also. A and B equal to A if A precedes B.